Good morning and welcome to TCS Student News. I'm Daj'a here with
Sara Harris.
Well, let's get started. First up, there are no more panes of glass left in Aleppo. When the body of 16 members of the Kazem family were pulled from the rubble of their homes last month, there was not enough space left in one of Aleppo's largest cemeteries to bury them. Gravediggers unearthed 7 graves of relatives and divided the newly dead among them. They buried a mother, her 2 children, her sister with her grandmother. Other children were buried in their grandfather's grave. The men were buried with their fathers. When people died, they would push the old bones to one side and then add the new bodies in the space where the old bodies were. There are 300,000 people in the eastern side of Aleppo. They are struggling under a blockade by Assad, which was imposed in July. This blockade has kept them from getting food, fuel, and medicine. Heavy bombing by the regime and its ally Russia has brought the city to a breaking point after more than 5 years of civil war. Before the war, Aleppo had 5 times their population. Aleppo is Syria's most dangerous city. 58 of the housing, health, education, water, and energy scores happen in Aleppo. 29% of the residential buildings have been estimated to be either damaged or destroyed since March 2016. More than 10,450 civilians have been killed. The civilians got tired of changing the glass panes after they kept getting smashed. Flying shards have injured and killed so many people that they have been replaced by optic fiberglass or tarps. That's why there are no more panes left in Aleppo.
Next up, Attorney General Loretta Lynch objected to FBI Director Comey's decision to not notify Congress of the email review. Comey decided to disregard her objections and sent the letter Friday anyway, shaking the presidential race 11 days before the election and nearly 4 months after the FBI chief said he wouldn't recommend criminal charges over the Democratic nominee's use of the server. FBI Director Comey said, "We don't ordinarily tell Congress about ongoing investigations, but here I feel an obligation to do so, given I have testified repeatedly in the recent months that our investigation was completed," and went on to say, "I also think that it would be misleading to the American people were we not to supplement the record." Clinton's campaign and allies quickly decreed that the decision's timing, and the candidate herself on Friday forcefully called on the FBI to release the full and complete facts about its review. "Voting is underway, so the American people deserve to get the full and complete facts immediately," Clinton said at a brief news conference in Des Moines, Iowa, adding it was imperative that the Bureau explain this issue in question, whatever it is, without any delay. "Hillary Clinton's corruption is on a scale we have never seen before," Trump said at a rally in Manchester, New Hampshire. "We must not let her take her criminal scheme into the Oval Office." In connection with the unrelated case, the FBI learned of the existence of the emails that appear pertinent to the investigation. Comey wrote, "I am writing to inform you that the investigative team briefed me on this yesterday, and I agreed that the FBI should take appropriate investigative steps designed to allow investigators to review these emails to determine whether they contain classified information as well as to assess their importance to our investigation."
ISIS kills more than 200 as Battle of Mosul's infants. Islamic State fighters have killed scores of people and are using tens of thousands more as human shields as the government of Kurdish force battles to reclaim Mosul, United Nations human rights. After killing a group of 25 former servants on Tuesday, the militants killed at least 190 former members of Iraq's security force at a military base in Mosul on Wednesday. Islamic State members had rounded up former servicemen and their families a day earlier after transporting them to a different base. They separated the men from the women and children and shot them to death. The military also killed 42 civilians on Friday at a military base outside the city by shooting them in the head after they refused to join the Islamic State, also known as ISIS. The Islamic State relocated close to 790 families into the city from surrounding the villages since they started of the operation to retake Mosul began on October 17. Many of those who refused to comply were shot on the spot.
Man, that's terrible. I said my prayers. But let's experiment with some science. What do you think about space travel?
I think it's wicked.
I don't think so, because NASA found that astronauts' spinal muscles shrink and weaken after long stays in space. Living in space can take a toll on an astronaut's back, causing the muscles within the spine to weaken over time. In microgravity, these muscles are prone to atrophy, and that causes the bones in the spine to stiffen and straighten out. Such body changes could explain why so many astronauts suffer from back pain after taking trips to lower Earth orbit. And fixing this problem may be crucial if NASA wants to send humans to Mars someday. The findings may mean it's time for astronauts to make some changes to their daily routines in space to stay healthy. Currently, astronauts exercise for about 2 hours a day to strengthen their muscles and bones. These systems can weaken in space since they aren't working against any gravity. Study author Alan Hargan said core strengthening exercises and neck exercises may be needed to keep the back healthy as well.
Next up, TCS News.
Mr. Mike Gallo came to talk about how he was a survivor of the Lady of the Angels fire in Chicago, Illinois. As he went on through his story of his experience, he talked about how everybody was shaken by the event and how he got out with only a few minor injuries. December 1st, 1958, is the date of the accident. 95 deaths in total, 92 children and 3 nuns. The fire started because there was a kid smoking in the basement and he did not completely put out the cigarette, and the furnace caught fire and the flames went up the ductwork and burned the entire second floor. We would like to thank Mr. Gallo for sharing with us.
We would like to show you the behind the scenes of TCS News making. Step 1. You will meet with your partner on a Monday for about 15 to 25 minutes. Then you will talk about what kind of news articles you both like, such as health, science, technology, etc.
Step 2. On Tuesday, you will go up to Mr. Tom and ask him questions like, what do you think about this news article? Or, Mr. Tom, do you think this is too much? Or he may just tell you, I think you should look at popular news stories that are big in the news.
Step 3. On Wednesday, you will meet with your partner for about 45 minutes. With that, you will start writing your scripts, making your PowerPoints.
Step 4. Thursday, you will finish up what needs to be finished, and then you will practice over and over to make sure everything is great. Well, this is the end of TCS News, and we hope to see you next week. Happy Halloween!